And joining me live is co-chair of Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations, Stefan. Romaniw, thank you very much for joining us. Deborah Haynes just mentioned there about Zelensky. He said he has to see President Putin. If he does, Stefan, what do you anticipate will happen?
Oh, look, first of all, let me say Christos Voskres, Christ is risen, because today the Ukrainian churches, the Catholic and the Orthodox, are celebrating Easter and resurrection of Christ. And obviously, it's not a real celebration for us now. We're considering what is happening in Ukraine. In terms of that meeting, obviously, President Zelensky's been pretty upfront with what he believes. His Minister for Foreign Affairs have basically said there will be negotiation. We need to try and stop this, but we will not give up people nor territory. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation as to how to get out of this. Putin has the responsibility now. It's on him to stop this war. Ukraine didn't start the war. Russia is persisting, even at this time of Easter. During Easter, the Ukrainians asked for a ceasefire. The Russians keep shooting missiles. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. But I think the conversation will certainly work around how to stop this. Now, how do you stop it when you have a tyrant who says, I want something that doesn't belong to me and I'm going to take it? When you have a look at Mariupol and what's happening there, where I suppose going to be appealing, and I don't think that's going to be too successful, to Putin's understanding that this is a crime against humanity. He needs to stop this if he has any sense of decency. Obviously, diplomacy. Obviously, the president would probably go with a match plan, and we'd be interested to see what that match plan is. But I think the fact that he and his ministers have articulated certain positions which are non-negotiable, therefore we need to see how this all plays out. But again, I think there's very little confidence in Putin keeping his word. And I'll go back to the late January this year, early February, when all those tanks were on the border. Putin said he was turning the tanks around. They were going home. All he did was did one big U-turn and come back. So I don't have much confidence in the fact of what Mr. Putin wants to seek a solution. I think the fact is Ukraine will continue to fight. It's fighting now. It's fighting to win. It's not fighting to lose. And I think I've said on your program once before, one of the problems with Putin diplomacy, if you have a normal diplomat or normal diplomats will try to find a win-win situation. With Putin, there is no win-win situation. It's he wins, you lose. And we're all very proud of President Zelensky, the way he and his team are now standing up to this. And again, I think the other thing is where you mentioned international negotiations as well. Zelensky's been pretty clear. There will be no negotiation about Ukraine without Ukraine. For too long, others have been trying to work out the destiny of Ukraine. Ukraine is big enough, strong enough now to look at its own destiny and argue its position. And its position's a pretty straightforward one. You have no right to Luhansk. You have no right to Donetsk. Your propaganda of saying that Russians are being persecuted in Ukraine, well, I've said to you before, why did so many people leave that region once the Russians came in? And the other thing is, I think I spoke to you earlier today, was that statement by the Russian ambassador in Canada, warning Canada, and my understanding is I made a few phone calls that's been sent around to other countries as well. This propaganda that somehow America is trying to start a nuclear war, has nuclear weapons, and basically this statement by the Russians saying, well, if it starts, it's not our fault. Of course, nothing's ever their fault, and this is a propaganda piece just to cover their tracks.